Have you ever sat on your couch, scrolling aimlessly, knowing deep in your heart that you should be doing something important, yet finding yourself unable to move? That feeling, that creeping regret, it's not just laziness. It's a dangerous habit that steals time, dreams, and potential. The Art of Laziness. Overcome procrastination and improve your productivity isn't a permission slip to do nothing. It's a wake-up call. It challenges the modern myth that time is endless and that one day you'll get around to it. The book opens with a stark reminder: an average human life, even in the richest nations like the US, amounts to roughly 80 summers, finite moments that will slip away if not seized with intention. Here is the central philosophical thrust of the book. The best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is now. This ancient Chinese proverb, often echoed in motivational circles, becomes a guiding theme throughout the book. Action now beats inaction forever. And the truth is motivational for anyone seeking growth. Your habits create your future. The author reminds us that no one else is going to save your potential. Your journey starts with responsibility. Responsibility is the first catalyst for change. If you love powerful, insightful, and life-changing books, then you've found the right channel. Every week, we break down the ideas that transform mindsets, elevate success, and shift lives. So don't miss out. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications, because you'll want to catch every book we review. Let's continue. The first major lesson is that laziness is not an external force. It is a choice you make each day. When you blame colleagues, lack of time, your job, or even your upbringing, you're giving away your power to act. The book relentlessly refocuses you inward. You are responsible not only for your actions, but for the consequences of your inaction. Library mindset highlights that blaming others is merely a comfort habit that prevents real change. This lesson resonates globally. In the US, for example, many young professionals blame economic conditions or work culture for their stagnation. While these factors matter, the real differentiator between those who succeed and those who stagnate is not circumstance, it's how they act within it. Countless American entrepreneurs, from startup founders in Silicon Valley to creative freelancers in New York, illustrate that success is less correlated with perfect conditions and more with taking full responsibility for growth. In developing economies like Kenya, the same principle applies. Young entrepreneurs in Nairobi have built booming tech ecosystems despite infrastructural challenges. Not because the system is perfect, but because they embraced responsibility over excuses. They understood that the first step toward productivity is acknowledging that only you can create your future. This lesson flows into the next. Comfort is the enemy of progress. Your comfort zone is the mistake, not your skills. The book confronts a brutal truth. Comfort feels good now, but costs you in the long run. Enjoying easy habits, scrolling social media, staying in bed, avoiding challenging tasks, gives a short-term emotional dopamine hit, but permanently stalls growth. Library mindset uses this to pivot into the second lesson. Growth demands action outside the comfort zone. This lesson is not abstract. Consider the global rise of digital nomads during the 2020s. These professionals left secure but uninspiring jobs to build businesses online, often in unfamiliar countries, without a guaranteed paycheck. From Bali to Lisbon to Austin, Texas, this community embodies the idea that stepping outside comfort unlocks possibility. Similarly, individuals overcoming debilitating procrastination in corporate jobs move to freelance or entrepreneurial paths, not because it's easier, but because it's meaningful. And meaningful work is what motivates real productivity. Library mindset then guides you to make comfort your enemy, not an ally, and introduces simple yet powerful strategies like writing down measurable goals, setting timelines, and creating accountability loops. These strategies force you to act rather than idle, reminding you constantly that laziness is a relinquishment of your future. Self-discipline is the bridge between intention and outcome. Once you understand responsibility and leave the comfort zone, the next battle is self-discipline, the willingness to do what needs to be done even when you don't feel like doing it. The author makes clear that there is no perfect time to start. Waiting is merely another form of procrastination. Self-discipline is not glamorous. It means doing the things you may least want to do. Starting that project, going to the gym, studying, rehearsing a presentation, writing that first draft. Studies on productivity psychology make the same point. Executive function, the brain's task management center, thrives on action, not hesitation. The immediate discomfort of action is temporary, whereas the regret of inaction extends indefinitely. In the US, this shows up in academic and professional contexts. Students who apply disciplined study routines outpace peers who rely on last-minute motivation. Working adults who set firm boundaries, e.g., defined work hours, prioritize tasks, achieve far more than those who drift from task to task without structure. Globally, disciplined individuals in highly competitive economies like South Korea have adopted rigorous study and work routines that consistently place them at world-leading positions in technology and education. The underlying lesson is universal. Discipline amplifies productivity and transforms potential into realized results. Working on the right things, meaning matters. Laziness often isn't laziness at all. It's a lack of engagement with meaningful work. The book explains that procrastination frequently signals a mismatch between your tasks and your deeper goals. If what you're doing doesn't matter to you, your brain will resist. This lesson resonates strongly in career transitions. In the US, many professionals leave traditionally respected roles for passion-based careers, designers, writers, consultants, digital creators, because meaning fuels momentum. Passion doesn't eliminate hard work, but fuels it. Globally, consider artists in creative hubs like Berlin or entrepreneurs in Nairobi's tech scene. Their engagement with meaningful work creates a natural drive that eclipses mere effort. Library mindset advises that laziness might be your brain's way of signaling you're not doing what truly matters. Therefore, aligning your tasks with values and goals becomes a core productivity strategy. Once you enjoy the work you do, procrastination loses its power. Perfectionism is procrastination in disguise. One of the most eye-opening lessons in the book is that perfectionism, the desire for flawless execution, often masks laziness. By waiting to start until things are just right, you delay action indefinitely. Library mindset encourages a radical shift. Done is better than perfect when perfection stalls progress. This lesson has profound real-world relevance. In the tech startup world, MVPs, minimum viable products, are launched not when perfect, but when usable, allowing feedback to shape the final vision. In the US, companies like Dropbox and Airbnb began as imperfect prototypes, iterated rapidly based on user behavior, and grew into global successes. These outcomes validate the book's point. Imperfect action trumps perfect hesitation. Globally, artists and creators release early works to build audiences, refine skills publicly, and improve through iteration. The lesson here is clear. Waiting for perfection is the enemy of progress. Action is the cure. Saying no and guarding your time. Another lesson focuses on protecting your finite time by learning to say no to distractions and unnecessary obligations. Too often, people agree to commitments that serve others' priorities, not their own. Library mindset emphasizes that your time belongs to you and that protecting it is essential for productivity. This resonates across cultures. In the US, where work culture often valorizes busyness, learning to decline additional meetings or non-essential tasks is a vital productivity tactic. Similarly, in cultures with strong community obligations, learning to balance social expectations with personal goals can dramatically improve focus and life satisfaction. Work smart, not always hard. Perhaps the most nuanced lesson in the art of laziness is reframing productivity not as working harder, but as working smarter. The book introduces principles like the 80-20 rule. Focus on the 20% of tasks that generate 80% of results. In Parkinson's law, work expands to fill the time allotted, which means setting tight deadlines increases efficiency. These principles have immense global relevance. In corporate America, productivity experts use these frameworks to cut inefficiency, prioritizing deep work over meeting overload. Across Asia and Europe, professionals adopt time boxing and task prioritization to manage heavy workloads effectively. The core lesson is that smart systems outperform sheer effort, and eliminating busy work opens space for meaningful progress. The power of micro-action. Small steps lead to massive change. Library mindset emphasizes that one of the greatest misconceptions about productivity is that you must make giant leaps to see results. Procrastinators often feel overwhelmed because the task seems too big. The antidote is micro-action, breaking projects into the smallest possible steps to create momentum. Consider global tech startups. A young entrepreneur in Lagos might begin a fintech app by first sketching the user interface on paper, then coding one feature at a time. Similarly, American innovators like Elon Musk started with small-scale prototypes for Tesla and SpaceX rockets before scaling operations globally. These examples demonstrate that small, consistent actions compound into breakthroughs. As Lao Tzu once said, "A journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step." This proverb perfectly illustrates the book's argument. To overcome procrastination, start with one deliberate action, however small. The lesson naturally leads to the next. Once you embrace micro-action, you must structure your environment to reinforce action. Environmental design. Remove obstacles to productivity. Library mindset teaches that your surroundings can either trap you in laziness or propel you into action. Cluttered spaces, constant notifications, and disorganized tools create friction that encourages procrastination. By contrast, a clean, organized environment aligned with your goals reduces friction and promotes focus. For instance, in American corporate culture, Google offices are meticulously designed to stimulate creativity and reduce distractions. Workers have spaces for collaboration and quiet zones for deep work. Globally, Japanese minimalist workspaces in companies like Toyota optimize for focus and efficiency, reducing sensory overload that could trigger avoidance behavior. This lesson illustrates that success is often not about willpower alone, but designing systems that make action effortless. Once your environment supports your efforts, you can tackle the psychological barriers of procrastination, which is the next core principle. The psychology of resistance, understanding why we avoid action. Procrastination is rarely about laziness. It's often rooted in psychological resistance. Library mindset explains that fear of failure, fear of criticism, and perfectionism generate an internal narrative that sabotages progress. Recognizing these mental barriers is the first step toward overcoming them. Globally, consider writers or artists who delay releasing work because of self-doubt. J.K. Rowling, for example, faced repeated rejections before Harry Potter was published. Her story demonstrates that resistance is normal. The key is to act despite internal doubts. In the American startup scene, founders often pivot multiple times after failed launches. They persist because they separate action from emotional fear. The lesson: embracing discomfort and acting in the presence of fear transforms resistance into progress. Once resistance is understood and countered, you can focus on prioritization and energy management, which is vital for maintaining momentum. Prioritization: focus on what truly matters. Library mindset emphasizes that not all tasks are equally important. Many people waste energy on trivial matters, believing that busyness equals productivity. The key is identifying high-impact activities and allocating energy accordingly. Globally, CEOs like Sundar Pichai of Google prioritize strategic decisions over operational minutiae, trusting teams to handle day-to-day tasks. In the US, productivity experts use tools like the Eisenhower Matrix to separate urgent tasks from important ones, ensuring that efforts align with long-term goals. This principle also echoes Stoic philosophy. It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it. Seneca: by focusing on essential work, you reclaim time and energy for meaningful achievements. Prioritization naturally leads to energy management, because even the most important tasks require sustained focus. Energy management: the foundation of sustainable productivity. Library mindset highlights that time management alone is insufficient. Managing energy, mental, emotional, and physical, is equally critical. Working long hours without rest depletes focus, creativity, and resilience, leading to burnout and procrastination. For instance, in Silicon Valley, tech innovators like Tim Ferriss advocate for structured energy cycles, alternating periods of deep work with breaks, physical activity, and deliberate rest. Globally, elite athletes in Europe, from soccer players to Olympic swimmers, structure training and recovery meticulously, understanding that energy is the currency of high performance. The practical lesson is simple. Allocate energy to high-priority tasks, take deliberate breaks, and respect your body and mind, which prevents procrastination and promotes consistent action. With energy managed, you can tackle habit formation, the next critical principle. Habit formation: making action automatic. Library mindset stresses that success is built on habits, not sporadic bursts of effort. Establishing routines reduces the reliance on willpower and creates a predictable path toward achievement. In the American context, Warren Buffett and Bill Gates maintain daily reading and thinking routines, building knowledge incrementally over decades. Globally, in Japan, the Kaizen method, continuous incremental improvement, demonstrates how small daily habits lead to massive outcomes over time. The lesson is that discipline becomes effortless when habits are structured, allowing action to become automatic and laziness less tempting. Once habits are solid, the book advances to leveraging accountability and social support. Accountability: outsourcing discipline to social systems. Even most disciplined individuals can falter. Library mindset emphasizes that accountability partners, mentors, or structured teams can maintain consistency. Sharing goals publicly or committing to deadlines with others creates external pressure that strengthens internal commitment. Globally, startup accelerators like Y Combinator in the US or Seed Stars in Africa enforce rigorous accountability structures, forcing entrepreneurs to report progress weekly. These systems prevent procrastination by creating social consequences for inaction. Philosophically, as Aristotle suggested, we are what we repeatedly do. Excellence, then, is not an act, but a habit. Accountability ensures that these habits are cultivated consistently. Mindset shift from punishment to reward. Finally, library mindset advises that motivation rooted in self-punishment is unsustainable. Traditional push yourself harder strategies often lead to guilt and eventual burnout. Instead, embracing a reward-based mindset, celebrating progress, even small wins, reinforces behavior and builds confidence. In the US, gamification apps for productivity demonstrate this principle, rewarding consistent effort with points or achievements. Globally, social media communities celebrate incremental accomplishments in fitness, learning, and business. By rewarding progress, procrastinators transform into self-motivated achievers, prepared to sustain long-term productivity. Deep work, the art of focused productivity. Library mindset emphasizes that shallow, distracted work is the enemy of productivity. Multitasking, constant notifications, and social media create an illusion of busyness, but rarely lead to meaningful progress. To overcome procrastination, one must engage in deep work, uninterrupted, high-concentration periods aimed at achieving significant results. Cal Newport, an American computer scientist and author, popularized this idea in his book Deep Work. Professionals at global tech firms, such as Microsoft in the US or Naver in South Korea, schedule uninterrupted blocks for coding, strategic planning, or problem solving. By intentionally removing distractions, these organizations ensure employees deliver high-impact results. Library mindset reinforces that procrastination often thrives when tasks are perceived as too large or too complex. Deep work combats this by allowing the mind to focus fully on one task at a time. This naturally leads to the next principle. Motivation is a driver, but not a substitute for structured action. Intrinsic versus extrinsic motivation, aligning action with purpose. Library mindset teaches that true productivity stems from intrinsic motivation, where the drive comes from personal goals, values, and meaningful outcomes, rather than external pressures or rewards. Extrinsic motivators, such as paychecks or deadlines, may initiate action but often fail to sustain it over time. Consider Malala Yousafzai, globally renowned for her advocacy for girls' education. Her motivation was deeply personal and aligned with her values, which allowed her to persist despite extreme risks. In the US, Elon Musk's intrinsic motivation to revolutionize transportation and space exploration fuels his relentless work ethic despite criticism and setbacks. Library mindset emphasizes that aligning tasks with your intrinsic purpose reduces procrastination naturally. Work becomes an extension of your values, not a chore. When motivation is aligned, you can tackle task structuring and prioritization, ensuring your efforts consistently translate into results. Task structuring, from overwhelm to actionable steps. Building on deep work and intrinsic motivation, library mindset highlights the importance of structuring tasks to reduce cognitive load. Overwhelm is a major trigger for procrastination, and clarity about next steps is crucial. Breaking projects into actionable steps and sequencing them logically helps maintain momentum. For example, global project management frameworks like Agile and Scrum in the US tech industry divide large initiatives into small, achievable sprints. Similarly, Japanese manufacturing companies apply lean principles, structuring work into incremental, clearly defined steps. By adopting a structured approach, even complex projects become manageable, increasing confidence and reducing avoidance behaviors. Structured tasks enhance decision-making efficiency, which is another lesson emphasized in the book. Decision-making. Minimize friction to reduce procrastination. Library mindset emphasizes that decision fatigue contributes significantly to procrastination. The more choices you have, the more energy is consumed, and the easier it is to defer action. Simplifying decisions, what to do, when to do it, and how to approach it, conserves cognitive resources for high-priority work. Global examples abound. Steve Jobs famously wore the same style of clothes daily to reduce trivial decisions. In Germany, executives often follow strict routines for efficiency, reserving mental energy for critical strategy decisions. Library mindset encourages creating clear decision frameworks, reducing hesitation, and maintaining momentum. Once decision-making is streamlined, you can apply strategic time allocation to maximize output. Time blocking and energy peaks optimize your daily flow. Library mindset emphasizes the alignment of tasks with peak energy periods. Productivity is not just about hours worked, but when and how energy is applied. Time blocking schedules work based on personal energy levels, allocating the most demanding tasks to high-focus periods. In the U.S., CEOs like Benjamin Franklin structured their days around peak performance, often tackling intellectual work in the morning. Globally, elite athletes and executives schedule critical tasks around circadian energy peaks. Library mindset stresses that respecting your natural energy patterns enhances focus, reduces procrastination, and ensures high-quality output. Energy management and time structuring naturally lead to the principle of self-compassion and resilience, which prevents burnout and encourages sustainable action. Self-compassion, avoiding the trap of guilt and perfectionism. Library mindset highlights that procrastination often triggers guilt and self-criticism, which paradoxically decreases productivity. Practicing self-compassion, treating yourself kindly when mistakes occur, fosters resilience and encourages re-engagement with tasks. Consider global entrepreneurs like Richard Branson, who openly discuss failures as part of growth. In the U.S., research by Kristen Neff shows that self-compassion improves persistence and mental health, enabling individuals to recover quickly from setbacks. Library mindset teaches that forgiving oneself for delays or mistakes creates a positive feedback loop. The less you beat yourself up, the more likely you are to take action. From resilience emerges the importance of accountability systems, which help maintain consistency despite challenges. Accountability systems, leveraging social structures for action. Even the most disciplined individuals benefit from accountability networks. Library mindset emphasizes that sharing goals publicly or reporting progress to mentors, peers, or online communities creates social incentives to follow through. Accountability structures counteract procrastination by making inaction visible and socially consequential. Globally, accelerators like Y Combinator or SeedStars enforce weekly check-ins for entrepreneurs, creating high accountability. In the U.S., weight loss and fitness communities utilize social tracking apps to hold members responsible for daily actions. These frameworks turn individual effort into a social contract, reinforcing discipline and habit formation. Accountability then naturally flows into the use of rewards and reinforcement, ensuring sustained motivation. Reward systems celebrate small wins to sustain momentum. Library mindset emphasizes that consistent action is reinforced by celebrating progress, not just outcomes. Rewarding small milestones strengthens the habit loop, making productivity enjoyable rather than burdensome. For example, in American corporate environments, gamification tools provide badges, points, or recognition for completing tasks, motivating employees to maintain consistent effort. In Japan, educational systems encourage incremental achievement celebrations, reinforcing perseverance in students. Library mindset teaches that recognition of small successes combats procrastination and enhances engagement, preparing the mind for larger, complex tasks. Mindset integration, from laziness to productivity. At this stage, the reader internalizes that productivity is not a single action, but a systemic approach. 1. Start with micro actions to overcome inertia. 2. Design your environment to remove friction. 3. Understand psychological resistance and act despite fear. 4. Prioritize tasks and manage energy strategically. 5. Build habits and accountability structures. 6. Celebrate progress to reinforce behavior. The philosophy behind this approach aligns with Aristotle. Excellence is an art won by training and habituation. We are what we repeatedly do. Library mindset underscores that overcoming procrastination and achieving meaningful productivity is not instantaneous, but a deliberate, structured practice. The psychology of procrastination, understanding resistance. Library mindset emphasizes that procrastination is rarely about laziness. Instead, it is a psychological resistance to discomfort, whether fear of failure, perfectionism, or lack of clarity. Understanding this root is essential. For instance, global tech employees often delay launching products because they fear user criticism or bugs, not because they are lazy. In the US, studies show that nearly 20% of adults identify as chronic procrastinators, often linked to anxiety or perfectionism. Library mindset teaches that naming the resistance and recognizing it as a temporary psychological state allows one to take immediate, intentional action, breaking the cycle of delay. This lesson flows naturally into goal clarity and visualization, as knowing precisely what you want reduces indecision and fear. Goal clarity and visualization, mental maps for success. Library mindset stresses that procrastination decreases dramatically when goals are specific, measurable, and emotionally compelling. Visualization techniques, imagining completing tasks successfully, enhance confidence and motivation. Globally, elite athletes use visualization before critical competitions. Serena Williams, for example, mentally rehearses entire matches before stepping onto the court. In business, American startup founders often visualize product launches to anticipate challenges and reduce uncertainty. Applying this principle to daily life, library mindset encourages creating vivid mental pictures of success for personal projects, assignments, or health goals. By aligning mental imagery with action, procrastination loses its hold. Once clarity is established, the next critical lesson is prioritization, focusing on what truly matters. Prioritization, the 80-20th rule applied to laziness. Library mindset borrows from the 80-20th principle. Pareto principle: 20% of tasks often generate 80% of results. Prioritizing these high-impact actions ensures that energy is directed toward meaningful work rather than being wasted on trivialities. In global corporations like Amazon, leadership principles emphasize focusing on tasks that produce outsized impact. American students often learn to prioritize essays or exams that count most toward grades, rather than minor assignments. Library mindset teaches that recognizing high-value tasks allows one to overcome procrastination by simplifying decisions and concentrating effort where it counts most. Prioritization is closely tied to time management and structured routines, which are the next focus. Time management and structured routines. Library mindset emphasizes intentional scheduling, assigning tasks to specific time blocks based on energy peaks, task complexity, and urgency. Without structure, Even motivated individuals fall into procrastination traps. Consider Elon Musk. He famously schedules his day in 5-minute increments, aligning tasks with attention span and energy. Globally, Japanese companies implement Kanban boards to visually manage workflow and ensure progress. Library Mindset advises creating daily routines with realistic time allocations for work, rest, and personal development. This routine reduces decision fatigue and ensures sustained productivity. Structured routines naturally lead to the lesson of habit formation, which sustains action beyond initial motivation. Habit formation, automating success. Library Mindset explains that habits reduce reliance on willpower, making productivity automatic. Small, consistent behaviors compound over time into significant outcomes. For example, in the US, James Clear's book Atomic Habits popularized the idea that tiny daily improvements yield remarkable results. Globally, successful entrepreneurs like Jack Ma built daily routines that enforced learning, networking, and innovation. Library Mindset emphasizes designing habit triggers and reward loops, leaving workout closeout as a cue to exercise, or setting up a clean workspace to begin deep work. Habits turn proactive action into default behavior, effectively combating procrastination. Once habits are ingrained, environmental design becomes a crucial lever. Environment design, shaping external conditions for internal action. Library Mindset teaches that your environment profoundly influences your behavior, reducing distractions, optimizing workspace ergonomics, and creating visual cues for action make focus easier and procrastination harder. Globally, Silicon Valley startups design open-plan offices with quiet zones, standing desks, and designated focus areas. In American households, productivity enthusiasts remove phones from bedrooms to prevent late-night scrolling. Library Mindset emphasizes that carefully curating your physical and digital space allows the mind to channel energy toward important work, reducing wasted effort and mental friction. Environment design leads directly into strategic use of technology, which can amplify productivity or exacerbate laziness. Technology as an ally, not a master. Library Mindset highlights the dual role of technology. It can either enable focus or create endless distraction. Productivity apps, blockers, and timers can help enforce work periods, but unregulated notifications, social media, and emails drain attention. Global examples include Danish offices implementing email curfews to improve concentration, or American software developers using apps like Trello, Notion, or Pomodoro timers. Library Mindset stresses intentional tech use. Automate repetitive tasks, block distracting sites, and schedule communication, so technology amplifies productivity rather than fuels procrastination. From here, the book transitions into self-accountability and reflection, critical for long-term adherence. Self-accountability and reflection, monitoring progress. Library Mindset asserts that tracking progress and reflecting regularly strengthens discipline. Journaling achievements, noting obstacles, and analyzing patterns prevent the mind from slipping into habitual delay. Globally, companies conduct weekly or bi-weekly retrospectives to assess productivity, learn from failures, and optimize future workflows. In American self-improvement culture, apps like Habitica gamify accountability, rewarding consistency. Library Mindset emphasizes the power of self-audit. Daily or weekly reflection fosters awareness, reinforcing motivation and correcting procrastination patterns. Finally, these lessons converge into the philosophy of sustainable productivity, emphasizing balance and well-being. Sustainable productivity, balance over burnout. Library mindset concludes that productivity is not about relentless work, but balanced, purposeful action. Continuous overexertion leads to burnout, which triggers procrastination. Integrating rest, physical health, and mental rejuvenation ensures long-term effectiveness. Global examples include Scandinavian countries prioritizing work-life balance, which correlates with high productivity and innovation. American companies increasingly encourage flexible schedules, mental health days, and wellness programs. Library mindset teaches that laziness is not inherently bad. It is a signal to adjust energy, focus, and habits. By respecting natural rhythms, you convert procrastination triggers into productive intervals for reflection and creativity. As Lao Tzu said, nature does not hurry, yet everything is accomplished. Library mindset aligns with this wisdom, showing that overcoming procrastination and achieving sustainable productivity is a journey of deliberate, mindful action, not frantic effort. Library mindset emphasizes learning from real-life examples to internalize productivity strategies. One illustrative case is Tim Ferriss, an American entrepreneur who combats procrastination by identifying the most impactful tasks first, applying the 80-20 principle, and scheduling short bursts of focused work. His productivity rituals, from batching emails to mini retirements to recharge creativity, demonstrate that strategic laziness can enhance output without burning out. Globally, Japanese manufacturing culture offers lessons on structured productivity. The Toyota production system encourages continuous improvement, Kaizen, with small, incremental changes, enabling teams to identify waste, improve efficiency, and maintain high-quality output. Employees are trained to observe carefully, reduce distractions, and optimize processes, effectively overcoming organizational procrastination through systemic habits. Similarly, in Nigeria, entrepreneurs have embraced flexible routines to balance multiple responsibilities, often leveraging early morning hours for high-focus work before social obligations arise. Library mindset highlights that regardless of culture, systematic routines, focused action, and reflection reduce procrastination and foster consistent productivity. Daily action plans, turning lessons into practice. Library mindset underscores that knowledge alone is insufficient. Action is essential. The book proposes daily exercises that integrate previously discussed principles. 1. Morning clarity session. Spend 10 minutes defining your 3 most important tasks for the day, visualizing completion, and anticipating potential obstacles. This aligns with the goal clarity lesson, reducing indecision and fear. 2. Time blocking. Allocate specific intervals for high-priority work, low-priority administrative tasks, and restorative activities. Even 25 to 50-minute focus sessions, Pomodoro technique, improve output by creating urgency without inducing stress. 3. Environmental check. Dedicate 5 minutes to organize your workspace, eliminate distractions, and set visual cues for focus. This may include clearing clutter, placing task lists visibly, and silencing unneeded notifications. 4. Micro-habits integration. Start small. 1 push-up, 1 completed email, 1 paragraph written, and gradually build consistency. Library mindset emphasizes that habit momentum compounds over time, creating a robust productivity baseline. 5. End-of-day reflection. Assess achievements, identify procrastination triggers, and adjust tomorrow's plan accordingly. Journaling or digital tracking apps, like Notion or Todoist, create accountability loops that strengthen self-discipline over time. Procrastination as a signal, turning weakness into strength. One of the most powerful lessons in library mindset is reframing procrastination as information rather than failure. Procrastination signals discomfort with a task, lack of clarity, or insufficient alignment with personal values. In Silicon Valley, engineers often delay tackling complex coding problems until they mentally visualize a solution or prototype. Recognizing hesitation as a signal rather than a flaw prevents frustration and fosters strategic problem solving. In European creative industries, writers and artists embrace the incubation period, allowing ideas to simmer before committing to execution. This deliberate patience converts potential procrastination into enhanced creativity and insight. By treating procrastination as a diagnostic tool, library mindset transforms the narrative from shame to strategy, motivating readers to take intentional, informed action. Global perspective, productivity across cultures. Library mindset integrates cross-cultural insights to demonstrate that productivity and procrastination are universal challenges. United States. Entrepreneurs like Gary Vaynerchuk illustrate relentless execution paired with strategic prioritization, balancing high-output bursts with mindful breaks to sustain energy. Europe. Countries like Germany emphasize structured workflow and minimal distractions, ensuring high-quality outcomes without overwork. Asia. In countries like South Korea and Japan, cultural discipline, long-term planning, and communal accountability enhance focus, while intentional rest prevents burnout. The lesson is clear. Successful productivity is not a one-size-fits-all approach. Adaptation to local context, personal strengths, and energy rhythms is essential. Overcoming mental barriers, fear, perfectionism, and motivation. Library mindset teaches that procrastination is often fueled by mental barriers. Fear of failure. Individuals delay action because of imagined consequences. The book encourages reframing failure as feedback, aligning with Thomas Edison's philosophy. I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work. Perfectionism. Seeking flawless execution paralyzes action. Library mindset recommends incremental progress over unattainable perfection, starting small and iterating. Motivation cycles. Motivation fluctuates naturally. Structured habits and routines ensure consistent output despite emotional variations. Real-life examples reinforce these lessons. American startups often launch minimally viable products, MVPs, to test markets quickly, iterating based on feedback instead of waiting for perfection. Globally, freelancers in India and Africa combat perfectionism by prioritizing deliverables over ideal outcomes, learning and improving in real time. Philosophical alignment, mindfulness, and strategic laziness. Library mindset intertwines philosophy with action. Lao Tzu's quote, "Nature does not hurry, yet everything is accomplished," resonates deeply with strategic laziness. The book frames laziness not as inactivity, but as intelligent allocation of energy, acting deliberately, pausing to reflect, and leveraging natural rhythms to maximize output. This approach transforms productivity from a forced struggle into a sustainable practice. By embracing deliberate action, building habits, optimizing environment, and respecting mental and physical cycles, individuals achieve maximum impact with minimal wasted effort. Final lessons. Integrating productivity into life. Library mindset emphasizes long-term sustainability. Productivity is not about relentless work, but purposeful, mindful effort. By combining goal clarity, prioritization, structured routines, habit formation, environment design, and reflection, individuals achieve continuous growth. Examples across the globe show the universality of these principles. American professionals use time blocking and habit stacking to balance multiple roles. Asian students employ disciplined study schedules to maximize academic performance without burnout. African entrepreneurs adapt to resource constraints, using focus, creativity, and structured action to achieve disproportionate results. Ultimately, the book's message is motivational. Overcoming procrastination and achieving meaningful productivity is a learnable, systematic process. By understanding the psychology of delay, applying practical strategies, and integrating habits into daily life, anyone can transform laziness into purposeful, effective action. The Art of Laziness redefines the way we view productivity, transforming the concept of laziness from a weakness into a strategic tool for personal and professional success. Through deliberate routines, energy management, psychological insight, and structured reflection, the book demonstrates that consistent, focused action, not frantic busyness, is the key to achieving meaningful results. From global examples in Silicon Valley, Asia, and Africa to practical exercises applicable to anyone's daily life, Library Mindset shows that procrastination is not a failure, but a signal, guiding us to refine priorities, conserve energy, and act with purpose. By integrating these lessons into habits, individuals can cultivate discipline, unlock latent potential, and embrace a lifestyle of intentional productivity. As Lao Tzu reminds us, a journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step, and through the art of smart, purposeful action, every step, no matter how small, compounds into extraordinary outcomes. Ultimately, this book empowers readers to turn procrastination into an advantage, making every moment count toward achieving goals, realizing dreams, and living fully with less stress, more clarity, and sustainable success. If this message resonated with you, subscribe and join us for more wisdom that fuels growth.